Will we take it in turns? Who takes one card? I take one card? Okay.
You go first.
Oh, so I'm going to take a card now?
Okay. That's the first question.
What did you do? How did you get caught?
Would you like to answer yours?
That one.
I was in for, I got caught for fraud.
In my case, it was I was charged with corporate fraud.
I robbed a bank. I robbed a bank. Many banks, actually.
So it was robbery for cash with an offensive weapon.
My charge was produce weapon to avoid apprehension.
I got very, very drunk. The big Yugoslav complained about the noise I was making. So I stabbed him 6 times. Then I went to bed and went to sleep.
I killed a bloke in 83. I stabbed him with a knife and I stabbed him 12 times.
I embezzled and sent some money offshore from the people that I was working for at the time.
We were using bank statements to basically access your account and siphon out your money. Nothing that I'm proud of, but you get yourself in situations with certain individuals, debt, you know, gambling, drugs.
Just got in deeper and decided, look, I'll go back to what I used to be good at, robbing banks, but I found out I wasn't much good at it.
I was in a domestic violence marriage, which is no excuse, but it did affect the way that I thought.
Next thing you got to pay back large sums of money. You know, how can you pay somebody $50,000 by Friday and it's Monday? Had to get the money, or else God knows what would have happened.
I started drinking, I started everything else before that, and then when I saw this person, I recognised my main goal was to get this person.
2 weeks later, I'm watching TV and all of a sudden there's me on the news doing a robbery. And I was like, oh my God, I did do that.
Yeah, I did get caught. I got caught about 20 minutes later.
4 hours later, the police come and woke me up. I got blood all over me. I had no answers to anything because I didn't know what happened.
All of a sudden, the phone started ringing and my friends would text me, please don't tell me it's you.
I was at a hotel in the city, walked into the lobby of the hotel. Every person, staff members, was actually police.
There was an off-duty cop was just outside. He noticed me coming out. He thought it was a little bit funny that I was just pulling a mask off and had a smoke coming out of the bag, which is a dye bomb. So he thought, that's a bit funny.
They came into the gym and arrested me.
And they called me red-handed because I had red dye all over my hand.
My arresting officer showed me his gun and said, you know, game's up. And I was sort of like, I'm only halfway through the cycle.
Out of all the people I knew, 4 ran Crime Stoppers, and that's how I was caught.
Guns were drawn on the ground, gun to the head, handcuffed, taken away.
And I didn't really get worried about being caught or anything like that. My world was shattered anyway in the first place, so, yeah.
Were you scared about going in?
Scared. I was fucking very scared. Excuse my language, but yeah.
Of course I was scared. I was only a naive 17-year-old.
I was scared of the unknown. I didn't know whether people walked around just building people up.
You don't know who's going to be sneaking up behind you or they've got a vendetta on you.
I'm also openly gay. I was very scared to show that, and I didn't. I masked it. I used to call my partner Robin instead of Rob.
My daughters were so little that I knew that I had to tell them that Mum was going away for a while. That was the hardest part.
Sitting in a holding cell for such a long time, it hit me that I'd done this crime and I totally had upset my family, had upset my friends. I was wailing, crying for about 4 hours thinking that, you know, I'm just destined to be in jail for the next few years.
Actually, in jail, it's pretty relaxed. I mean, as long as you don't get cheeky to people, swear at people, steal. No stealing, you know? Not even taking a coffee into somebody's room without permission. Don't even go in another person's cell without permission. It's a big no-no.
I was never scared about going into jail. Scared about getting out. My girlfriend decided that she wanted to get me out, and I said, well, the only way we're going to get out is in a helicopter. If you go and get me a helicopter, we'll get out. And she did it.
But were you scared about going in? I wasn't, because I was sort of when I was 22 years of age, I wanted to be a crimp, and that's occupational hazard.
Really, only had escaped 3 times, but I had 5 goes. Yeah. It sounds fantastic now. It was the wrong move, but at the time it sounded a good idea.
People have asked me what's it like. I'd say two things. Massive boredom and petty jealousy.
Can you buy drugs in jail? Yeah. Well, yeah.
You can buy heroin, you can buy bupe, you can buy...
Pot, ice.
Speed, absolutely.
There's amphetamines.
You can get anything, basically, anything, but it's small amounts and it's expensive.
And that's through the screws.
Yeah.
Women can take in massive amounts of drugs, you know, internally.
There was times when I had drugs in jail and my theory was, well, these bastards aren't going to get anything off me, so there's one place for it. In the boot. The rectum.
Up the back.
There's also a lot of psych medication, so there's a specialist psychiatric unit in prison for probably a quarter of the population that have really severe issues. And the girls on the compound negotiate with them or stand over them or make them give them their drugs.
If anybody has got drugs, gets a lot of drugs in and control people that way, and they've got their henchmen.
I never used them. If I got urined and there was any sort of drugs in my system, I would have lost all of my privileges, all of them, and I wouldn't have been able to see my daughters.
It's made it a lot harder for visitors. I find it very difficult to come and see you without getting searched with dogs sniffing around them.
If you've been smoking marijuana and whatnot, you can flush your system, and the best thing is really strong lemon juice. Because you never know when they're going to come and get you. And I used to think it was fabulous that, you know, there'd be, you know, a couple of radishes delivered, you know, with the groceries each week, a couple of lettuces, a cabbage, and then 45,000 lemons, a couple of apples. You know, I was sort of like, call me old-fashioned, but might be something to look into there.
Did you have any gay moments in prison?
Two openly gay guys, I mean... let me cut you off. I had none.
Me, I had many.
No gay moments in prison, mate, you know? No.
I know that I had a lot of people say, I'll turn you.
You're in a shower block with 60 other blokes naked, but there's no, you know, there's no attraction going on there, you know? You're just going to get in there and shower and get the hell out.
When you do full-time, like long time sort of thing, you sort of want to experience a few things.
My attitude to gays changed in jail. I heard this kid getting stood over by these, and these guys, officers, they were huge, they were about 6'6". And I heard him saying to him, why do you let men fuck you? You know, and they're slapping him around, he's saying, I don't know, sir, and they're fucking knocking him around.
Yeah, so there was a lot of gay people around in the prison, but it was in the darker section.
When they left, I heard the kid crying, and there was a loose brick in the wall. I said, give me your hand. I held his hand for about 30 seconds. And if they caught us, they would have flogged us, you know. How dare they knock this kid around just because of his sexual orientation? And it changed my whole mind about gays.
Most of the women in there wanted comfort. They wanted somebody that they could have a loving relationship with a bit of sex on the side that wasn't going to belt the crap out of them.
A lot of young fellas, they get with the hardcore blokes too.
Yeah.
So they're protected.
I used to pick my target. I'd scope out who had what, who had money, this, that and the other, and that'd be my boyfriend. And that's how I survived in jail.
Is there much assault in prison?
You can make anything into a weapon.
I got a scar. I got a TV thrown at me.
You know, whether it be a toothbrush, whether it be billiard balls in socks.
The very first morning that they opened the doors, I walk out and there was two people having a fight. One was had a knife and another guy with a Breville machine.
And it doesn't matter who you are too, like, I mean, I've seen a frail 70-year-old man get assaulted by some young kids because he told was one person, no, I won't push a rubbish bin.
And again, it's not always physical assault. With women, it's the mental manipulation. So
Yeah,
Physical violence, emotional violence, financial violence, you know, it just goes on and on.
the girls will walk past their window when they're in the cell and just whisper that they're going to get them next time they're on the compound. And what happens is that traumatises people. I've seen young girls and older people end up going pretty much insane because that fear, that absolute fear of not knowing where this assault is going to come from.
One kid was tortured a few times, had scalding, boiling water tipped on him. They've hit him with wet towels and then they've assaulted him.
People got to know if you tangle with the real hardcore blokes, you're going to die.
What was the highlight of your week in prison? Oh, that would be the visits.
You're seeing someone who's close to you that you really care for.
On a Sunday afternoon, I would have visits with my daughters. The girls would bring in pictures, we could get photos taken.
I didn't receive visits very often.
It was also the hardest time, you know, when they left.
If it was a week where you didn't get a visit, then a highlight would be when you get your buy-up. You get a buy-up once a week and you get special things on it that you don't normally get on your rations.
Tim Tams, maybe? Something like that?
With me, it's porridge. I am what I am today because I eat porridge.
My highlight was I was the first one ever to have a rebel sandwich maker, toasted sandwich maker. I'll never forget that first cheese and egg sandwich.
I know where you're going with that too.
I guess sex would have been the highlight of my time in prison.
My highlight of the week in prison is helping people. I found in prison that a lot of guys would come confide in me and say, I can't read or write, can you read a letter for me? Or can you write a letter for
That
me?
happens a
And
lot
please
of times.
don't tell anyone.
None of the girls were getting parole because no one cared, and they were illiterate. So I set up my own little workstation and went from 3 out of 40 getting their parole to 38 out of 40 getting their parole. It afforded me lifelong friendships. It afforded me safety. I became very handy to the girls there because I was the inside lawyer, basically.
Sorry, I have to laugh because this is bad for me and it's also bad for Matt. We both have experiences in this. Let's read it together. Does the drop the soap scenario actually happen? Is there rape in prison?
I think the drop the soap scenario does actually happen, but in men's prisons.
What percentage? 150%?
I used to say to him, can you pick that up for us, bro? You know, I've got a bit of soap in my eyes and everybody's just waiting.
You would see these guys waiting at their cell door with their towel for me in particular to walk down into the shower just to have a look.
If you don't go looking for this sort of stuff, you don't see it.
There was an officer that raped a woman who was mentally impaired that was in isolation at the time. It became a really, really big thing.
I also nearly got raped when I was 18 myself. A guy turned on me and in a cell I had to fight him, and it was a pretty vicious moment.
I was raped in prison, and this is opening up a very, very, very hard wound. I was on remand for 2 weeks. I was sexually assaulted, and then upon going back for sentencing, the magistrate looked at me and said to me that I was lying to get out of prison.
Does prison work? Did it rehabilitate you?
Yes, it did. But that was because I was so heavily invested in the women there and in the system and trying to make change.
For me, it worked, but I don't think it was the jail that did it. I think it was me coming to the realisation that I got to change my ways or I'll end up being away from my loved ones.
You need somebody or something to take all the hate out of you.
Yeah.
I had a lady visit me 212 times in 6 years, and this lady, she said to me, if it wasn't for me visiting you all these years, you wouldn't be going to the Silverwater minimum security. And I said, oh, that's right, love, you took all the hate out of me.
A large majority, they're not bad, the ones that go to jail, and they can be rehabilitated if they're given a chance and they're given programs. Now, there aren't enough programs in jail for a start.
My thought process is people should go in and be treated. You've got a captive audience, you've got very injured and hurt people. Make them better people when they come out. It's a win-win situation.
In my last 6 months of my prison sentence, I did a drug and alcohol course. It totally opened my eyes up to how much time I wasn't spending with my family and how much time I was spending on drugs.
The young ones are the ones that can be turned around. They need mentoring. And they're all mixed. They mix with the worst criminals. The young ones come in first time, they're still mixing with the worst, and they come out worse. And I'm an example of how that happened.
There's also ways to learn new crimes inside.
One kid, for instance, who was in for driving charges, he got 18 months or something. Now, he wasn't a drug user. He started to use drugs in jail. Next thing you know, he's calling up whoever on the outside to withdraw his inheritance to give it to somebody else to bring drugs in. I mean, this kid's gone from this kind little kid who came in because he didn't drive with his license to a drug-injecting, tattooed, destroyed his life, He got out, came back, got back out, came in, like, forget it, he's done. You know?
Most of the time, jail doesn't work.
Rehabilitation, I think you rehabilitate yourself. It's worked for me, yes. It
He
has.
hasn't been out very long, so
I haven't been out.
but he's on the
but
right
I
track at
have.
the moment.
Yeah, I know which track that I want to be on.
What was the first thing you did when you got out?
What was the first thing? I walked down the street on my own, down to the corner, and I felt more freedom than anything else.
When I got out, I got arrested. They grabbed me, the police, and they said, we got to extradite you to Queensland. And it was an old charge, that 30-year-old charge I was telling you about, and welcome to freedom, yeah.
You get your blue slip, you walk around and you get your money, you're released with your clothing. Hopefully and fortunately, maybe sometimes it may have been washed.
My sister picked me up with a lot of the family and nieces and nephews and whatnot. We went straight to the Docklands. We went and had lunch on the wharf and drank a bottle of wine.
A couple of times I've gone and had a couple of drinks, got pissed.
But have you ever had, like, did you always have a place to go when you got out?
Oh yeah, I've always had a place to go.
Okay.
I've always had a place to call home, yeah.
Anyway, I got out about 10 o'clock that night, got bail. I had some fish and chips, yeah. No, truly, I enjoyed it.
I went to go and have a swim or go to the beach and jump in the water.
I was so excited to see my dog that I hadn't seen in 2 years. She's a little black pug.
Yeah, I just wanted to go home and just hang out with family and relax.
I'll start crying now. She was just the best dog ever. And that's all I wanted to do was get home and cuddle my dog.
But the one thing, I was frightened as well. Really, really frightened. And I started having panic attacks and everything else like that, yeah.
I cried. The night before, everyone had a really big party for me, which is the common thing, and I made sure that I invited the officers as well.
And it's like you're leaving your family. Yeah, it just kills you.
I just burst into tears and said, I don't want to go, and he's like, this just doesn't happen.
And it was hard getting out. I isolated. I was so shameful, so guilty. You know, my friends, I didn't want to face my friends because of what I did.
Is it hard getting work afterwards? Well, I'm a pensioner.
It wasn't for me. I left prison on the Friday and started work at a university on the Monday, so I was very privileged in that sense.
Oh, shocking, terrible. I mean, you have to fill out these forms and, your application, have you got a criminal conviction? You say yes, you don't get a call back.
When you got 2 holes in your head and the nut houses and they know you've served a life sentence, who's going to give you a job?
Especially with me, I've got a fraud background. They want to know what you're in for fraud. Oh, jeez, don't trust him. Lock him, zip up your wallets, hide your bags.
Very, very hard.
And I said to my parole officer, I said, look, I've tried getting a job. And she said, well, you can get a damn job, go get one. I said, well, how am I going to get one? She goes, well, you can hold a sign on the side of the road, a lollipop sign, stop traffic.
When I got out, I contacted an old boss. I asked him, I said, if I apply for a job, could you be a referee for me? He said, but you're also welcome to come back and work with me as long as you haven't got any tattoos while you've been in jail.
You know, people leave with no money, so where do they start? It's one thing after another, and that's why I say it's much harder to get out of prison than it is to get in, to go to prison.
I put the uniform on, looked at myself in the mirror, and I started crying. I rang the boss and said, look, I've just got too much anxiety, I can't do this. And I haven't actually worked since I've been out of prison.
Parole does nothing for you, absolutely nothing. They're useless. I still haven't got a job.
The harder you make it for people coming out of prison who want to make a good go of it, it's going to be of more detriment to the community because, one, they won't obey the laws, and two, they'll have no other option but to resort to crime.
What was the most important thing you learned in prison?
Well, I can answer that with great pride because I learned that I wasn't insane.
The most important thing that I learned was you know who your friends are when the chips are down. And unfortunately, my family didn't really.
I cried 3 times. I cried 3 times in prison. That was a wonderful thing to cry. When you remember that you ever cry when the first time? Gee whiz, you think you're him? Yeah, I'm him. And
the most important thing I learnt in jail was that I was affecting many people through my addiction.
That me as a bank robber had victims. I always knew that when I robbed banks that I wasn't going to shoot anyone, I wasn't going to hurt anybody. But I realised by doing the program that you can run into a bank and hold up people there might be a few that'll be traumatised for the rest of their lives.
I learnt an enormous amount that just because I was a reasonably educated person, my point of view and my perspective was way, 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 way out of whack.
I learned patience. I used to make rash decisions and do stupid things and, you know, I ended up in jail. So now I find to think about things a little bit more clearly.
I used to be somebody that sat back and thought, people that are on drugs are just scum. It's their decision. You know, they're druggies, they're junkies. And I went in there and saw through my own eyes and my own heart and my own experience that that's just not true.
So 42 years I've spent in jail. These two blokes that I killed were two innocent people. I call it a mess of my life.
I certainly learnt that I needed to change my life around. Otherwise, I was going to end up back in there. So that's what I had learnt.
Beautiful, boys. Thank you so much. That was magnificent work.
Fabulous, look at that. Wow, they were good questions.
You're the first person who's ever straightened up the cards, put them ready for the next
Yeah,
person.
I've got that tight in mind, you know, it's just the way I am. So.
Thank you. Thank you very much.